Now we come on the next topic taken catalysis. We have discussed in brief about catalyst in the topic kinetics, and also we remember in chapter chemical equilibrium. Once again you can see here this topic catalysis. This term is used catalyst. It was given by scientist Berzelius in year 1835. What is catalyst? First try to understand the catalyst meaning. They are the substances which will accelerate the rate of a chemical reaction, but at the end of reaction they will remain unchanged chemically and also amount wise. That is definition of substances which accelerates the rates of chemical reactions and themselves remain chemically and quantitatively unchanged after the reaction. They will take part in reaction, but at the end of reaction they are again obtained back, or they will help in the chemical reaction. Example, one common example taken like on heating potassium chlorate. It can decompose to give KCl plus oxygen gas, but reaction is quite slow. But on adding small amount of MnO2, which is acting as catalyst, the rate of reaction is increased quite high. So rate of reaction increases by adding catalyst. How it happens? This catalyst they actually decrease the rate of they will increase the rate of reaction by decreasing the reaction's activation energy. Already it has been explained in detail in topic or chapter chemical kinetics. How in the reaction catalyst they increase the rates of chemical reaction by decreasing the reaction activation energy from Arrhenius equation. It was explained that decrease EA. When EA decreases, log K increases or K increases. K is the rate constant. If the rate constant of reaction increases, the rate of reaction increases using catalyst. So we can have in the reactions catalyst may take part in reaction or may not take part in reaction directly, but at the end of reaction they remain unchanged. Suppose they're involved in some step, but at the end of reaction they're again produced back. So what happens when in the reaction we have a catalyst which is not consumed? So a small amount of catalyst will be sufficient for catalyzing a reaction for a long time, because at the end of reaction they remain unchanged. So again they produce, again they will catalyze more reactant molecules for the reactions. Okay. Now we can take the terms like one is called promoter and one is catalyst or poisons. क्या होते हैं? Catalytic poisons and promoters. So we can have some compound acting as catalytic poisons, some will act as promoters. Promoter क्या होते हैं? They help the catalyst to be more effective. They help the catalyst to increase the rate of reaction, to increase the rate of reaction. Whereas when we take poisons or catalytic poison, they decrease or sometimes even stop the reaction. Decrease the rate of reaction, we can call them negative catalyst, or they can sometimes stop the reaction altogether. So negative catalyst or poison, catalytic poisons, they slow down the catalyst. If we take the term promoter and catalyst, example taken reaction preparation of ammonia by Haber's process. Nitrogen plus hydrogen can give ammonia gas. In the reaction iron is catalyst and MO in the reaction is used as promoter. In the reaction molybdenum is acting as promoter and iron in the reaction will act as catalyst. Okay. Now when it is taken, we will take two types of catalysis depending upon the physical state of the reactants and the catalyst. One is called heterogeneous, one called homogeneous. Let us take example wise the two types of catalysis. Now we can take catalysis in two types of two groups. One is called as homogeneous catalysis. इसका meaning है homogeneous, same phases. When the reactants and the catalyst are in same physical state, same phases, then it is called homogeneous catalysis. इसका definition क्या होता है? when the reactants and the catalyst are in same phase, same physical state, maybe liquids or gases, then it is called as homogeneous catalysis. Example taken, like first we take oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide, SO2 plus O2 give SO3, NO gas is catalyst, so you can take reactant or product or the catalyst, all are in same physical state, all are in gas phase. अगला रिएक्शन क्या है? इट इज रिएक्शन ऑफ एस्टर हाइड्रोलिसिस. इट इज रिएक्शन ऑफ मिथाइल एसीटेट, रिएक्शन ऑफ हाइड्रोलिसिस बाय वाटर. In this case, HCl liquid is acting as catalyst. At the end of reaction, product is in the reaction obtained is CH3COOH plus CH3OH. इसका रिएक्शन का मैकेनिज्म पूरा पढ़े ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में, कैसे होता है, कैसे ब्रेक बॉन्ड होंगे आपके. अगला दिया है इसमें C12H22O11 aqueous when hydrolyzed in presence of dilute solution of sulfuric acid, it gives glucose plus fructose. Aqueous liquid or aqueous solution, all are taken aqueous solution or liquids. So again, this all the examples can be taken the examples of homogeneous catalysis. अगला दिया है इसमें heterogeneous catalysis. ये क्या होता है definition इसका? When the reactants and the catalyst are in different physical state or different phases, then it is called as heterogeneous catalysis. Hetero means different phases. The reactant and the catalyst are in different physical state, different phases, then it is called heterogeneous catalysis. They are quite important. Like example taken here, one reaction, oxidation of sulfur dioxide to form sulfur trioxide using platinum solid as catalyst, or in this reaction V2O5 solid can also act as catalyst. This reaction is used to prepare sulfuric acid in contact process. अगला क्या है? N2 plus hydrogen give ammonia gas. Reaction called Haber's process to prepare ammonia. In the Haber's process, what happens? This give ammonia gas. By reaction of nitrogen gas, hydrogen gas, iron solid is catalyst. MO molybdenum solid is promoter, giving ammonia gas. अगला दिया है this reaction is used in Ostwald process to prepare nitric acid. Third reaction. It is reaction is used to prepare HNO3 by Ostwald process. उसका पहला स्टेप है reaction of ammonia with O2 in presence of platinum gauge, platinum solid. ये गैस है, ये गैस है, ये solid है, ये गैस, ये गैस. At high temperature reaction happen where water will be in the vapor phase, gas phase. So this reaction is used to prepare NO, then NO oxidized to NO2, which undergo disproportionation giving HNO3. That entire reaction is called as Ostwald process to prepare nitric acid. Ammonia plus O2 giving NO and H2O. समझ में आ रहा है? One more reaction like hydrogenation of vegetable oils. When you take vegetable oils, on adding hydrogen, passing hydrogen in the presence of finely divided nickel, they give solid fats. Again, the example of heterogeneous catalysis. Okay, that is different categories, types of catalysis here. Now next can be taken here theories of heterogeneous theory of this catalysis. Now coming on theories of adsorption, first can be taken here. In fact, we can take three theories here. The latest theory is the modern theory, which is combination of the old theories is used, and that we will discuss in detail. Now first we can take old theory, which is called also adsorption theory of catalysis. It is called adsorption theory of catalysis. आप और इसको लिखिए पॉइंट्स को है. इसमें क्या बोला उन्होंने कि reactants in the gaseous state or solution are adsorbed on the surface of a solid catalyst. Then what happened? The increase in the this increase in the concentration, this increase in the concentration of the reactant on surface, and therefore it increases the rate of reaction. The increase in concentration of the reactants on solid surface will increase the rate of reaction. What happen here? The reactants will come closer. When they come closer, they can combine, they can undergo reaction easily. So the increase in concentration of the reactants on solid surface will increase the rate of reaction. And further, we know the phenomena of adsorption is exothermic process in which heat is released. That heat released will help the reaction. The adsorption being exothermic process, the heat released in adsorption will be utilized in enhancing the rate of reaction. It is the old theory that says that in the adsorption phenomena the heat is released. That heat release will help the reaction to continue. अगला था इसमें इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड फॉर्मेशन थ्योरी. इट हैव बीन एक्सप्लेन, इफ यू रिमेंबर और रिकॉल, इन टॉपिक टेकन योर chemical kinetics, that the reaction will follow a path of lower activation energy because the catalyst will combine with the reactant and they follow intermediate, they change the reaction mechanism, they follow a path of lower activation energy. So in the lower activation energy they will form one complex, they will form one intermediate compound by reacting or combining with the reactants, for whose formation the lower energy is required for activation. And when the reaction have lower activation energy, then what happens? The reactant molecules can cross energy barrier easily, and more molecules when cross energy barrier in the reaction, the rate of reaction will be increased. That is taken intermediate compound formation theory. And we take modern theory taken is the combination of these two theories. This modern theory says the reactions or the catalyst will catalyze the reaction in 5 steps. The reaction can take place using the catalyst. वो क्या क्या step होते हैं? Let us take this modern theory now. I will take the theory of adsorption. Modern theory of adsorption have 5 steps. कौन से 5 steps हैं? This mechanism is involving 5 steps. It is combination of old theory of adsorption and the intermediate compound formation theory. Now, what is this theory saying? That first can take it have 5 steps. Pehला step क्या है? Diffusion of the reactants to the surface of the catalyst. The reactants are coming to surface of the closed surface of the adsorbent. That the reactants, when they come close to surface, they get adsorbed on the catalyst, which is having free valencies. The solid catalyst, already explained to you, are having free valencies. Due to free valencies, they attract and retain the molecules, in this case of reactant, on the surface. So that is first point taken, diffusion of the reactant molecules to the surface of the catalyst. When they come and then they get adsorbed. It is second step, adsorption of the reactant molecules on the surface of the adsorbent of this catalyst. And then what happen? After the reactants are adsorbed, they will lie side by side, and then they can undergo chemical reaction. Then they undergo chemical reaction. That's third step taken, occurrence of chemical reaction on the surface of catalyst. Chemical reaction on the surface of catalyst through the formation of intermediate. And then after they form product, then the step 4 is taken, desorption of the products from surface of the catalyst. So what happen? They will make available again surface free to adsorb more reactant molecules, and again the reaction to happen. So what happens? That is step 4, desorption of the product, reaction product form. In the reaction they will move away, they undergo desorption from surface of catalyst, and therefore they will make surface available again for the more reaction. And then it is taken step 5, diffusion of the products away from the surface of the catalyst, so that they will not be in the nearby of the catalyst, so that they will make surface free completely without causing crowding around the surface. And then on the free surfaces they again can adsorb more reactant molecules to catalyze the reaction further. I get this point. So that is the 5 step taken here. Now you can see at the end of reaction what happens. The catalyst having free surfaces, on that they adsorb reactant which are again free after the product form, moving away, diffuse away from the surface of the catalyst. So even a small amount of catalyst will be sufficient to help this reaction. Even small amount of catalyst is sufficient to help this reaction. And this also explain that the amount of catalyst will remain unchanged chemically and also amount wise. At the end of reaction the catalyst will remain unchanged. However, this theory is unable to explain the role of promoters, what is the actual mechanism of the promoter involvement, and catalytic poisons, how the catalytic poisons they will affect the reactions rate. Now diagrammatically this can be shown to you. Let us see diagrammatically. Now if I show diagrammatically this adsorption theory or the modern theory of adsorption, which is combination of both. इसमें पहला पॉइंट क्या है? It is the catalyst which have free valencies. They are free valencies, suspending bonds. It is catalyst surface having free valencies. Now what happened first in the beginning? The reacting molecules or the reactant molecules which have to react, they diffuse toward the surface of the catalyst and then they get adsorbed. That is the step first taken, and step 2 taken, adsorption of the reacting molecules on the surface of the catalyst. And then what happen? The reacting molecules start reacting, they form new chemical bonds, but they are not departing away. So they will form one intermediate which is of lower activation energy for the reaction to happen, and then after they form product, this product is undergo desorption. This is step next one taken, desorption of the product molecules, and then this product molecules will diffuse away from the surface of the catalyst, from the surface of the solid catalyst, and then they make free valencies again available on which they can adsorb more reactant molecules, and therefore reaction cycle can continue. So you can see at the end of reaction they remain unchanged quantitatively, chemically, without chemical reaction. So what happen? A small amount of catalyst is sufficient to cause or to catalyze the large amount of reactants. Okay, so that is theory of this adsorption. Now you can take some properties of solid catalyst, like they are selective in nature, and also there some properties we are taking here of the solid catalyst. Let us see. Now let us take some important features of solid catalyst. In this case, first can be taken activity. Activity of solid catalyst will depend on the strength of chemical bonds in chemisorption. It depends on strength of chemisorption bonds. आप इसको पूरा नोट कर लीजिए, पॉइंट को लिख लीजिए, पूरा पॉइंट को है कि it depends on the strength of chemisorption, the strength of bonds in chemisorption. Now actually what happens when they strong bond formation, then they can make the reactant reactive enough for reaction, chemical reaction. Now what happens? Reactant should be adsorbed strongly, reasonably strong on the catalyst surface to become active, but remember they should not be adsorbed very strongly, because if they are adsorbed very strongly, then they get immobilized, they cannot be mobilized further, they will not leave surface and they occupy surface of the catalyst. So what happens then? They will leave no space on the catalyst surface. So they should be adsorbed, the reactant should be adsorbed on the surface of catalyst reasonably strong, but not very strongly, because if they are adsorbed very strongly, then what happens? They cannot move away and they cover the surface of the adsorbent or the catalyst to prevent the further reaction or to catalyze other reactant molecules. And then now one observation there regarding this nature or activity you can take for hydrogenation reactions. For hydrogenation reactions, the catalytic reactivity, you know this, like hydrogenation means alkanes or alkynes. When we add hydrogens, they can give alkane or even several other reactions. The addition of hydrogen is called hydrogenation. In that, metals are acting as common catalyst. So for hydrogenation reaction, the catalytic reactivity increase from group number 5 to group number 11 in the with metals. Group 5 में कौन सा आपका आएगा? स्टार्ट से यहाँ पे देखते हैं. 1 आपका जाएगा कैल्शियम, पोटेशियम, then 2 में कैल्शियम, then स्कैंडियम, थर्ड vanadium, chromium, then manganese onwards. Manganese is group 5. Then group 6 we have iron. Then we have group 7 cobalt. Group 8 we have nickel. Group 9 we will have copper. So group 8 if you take here, nickel, palladium, platinum are the most common type adsorbent which are used in hydrogenation reactions. अगर आपने organic में देखा होगा, आगे और भी देखेंगे इसमें कि in organic portion that we use common, like in hydrogenation reaction we write na alkane plus hydrogen, nickel or palladium or platinum, because they are very good effective catalyst, highly reactive catalyst for the hydrogenation reactions. They can adsorb large amount of hydrogen on surface, so it increases and you can take maximum activity shown by the group 7 to 9 elements. One common reaction taken, hydrogen plus O2 give water in the presence of platinum as catalyst. So platinum, nickel, palladium are the most commonly used catalysts in the hydrogenation reactions. Okay. Now next we can take selectivity point. we can have catalyst highly selective. So let us say next point, selectivity. Now next point taken, selectivity. What is selectivity? It is the ability of a catalyst to direct a reaction to yield a particular product. Now if we take one common reaction of CO plus hydrogen, in presence of different catalysts, they are giving different products. We can take like CO plus 3 hydrogen in the presence of nickel, they give CH4 gas plus H2O gas. If I take same reaction CO plus 2H2 gas in presence of copper, then ZnO plus Cr2O3, it gives CH3OH in the gas phase. The reaction taken of CO plus hydrogen gas give in the presence of copper as catalyst give HCHO. So you can change the reaction, same reactant are there, but in the presence of different catalyst, they are giving different products. So we can take a catalyst will direct a particular reaction, a selective reaction, and in the presence of different catalysts, they can yield different products. We may have common reactant, but different catalysts can give different product. They may not give the same product. Even it is possible that one catalyst, in one of the reaction we have a catalyst that can catalyze one reaction, but in other reaction it may fail. Meaning we have selectivity of the catalyst. They can catalyze some selective reactions only and not all the reactions. Okay, that is the selectivity of the catalyst point. Now we take one term more, is called shape selective catalyst, that depend on the size of the pores and the we can take size of the molecules of the reactants. That is commonly used in zeolites. So let us take that also introduction and some idea of the shape selective catalyst. Now we take next topic taken as their shape selective catalysis by zeolites. What are zeolites? They are basically hydrated sodium aluminosilicates. So we can take the catalytic reaction. First, what is the meaning of this term here? Question can be given, what is definition of this shape selective catalysis? तो क्या होता है? The catalytic reactions that depend upon the pore structure and of the catalyst and the size of the reactants and the product molecules. आपका दो टर्म्स इसमें क्या क्या दिया है? एक दिया है pore structure and second आपको क्या दिया इसमें? Size of the reactant and the product molecules is called as shape selective. Selectively different shapes can be catalyzed. So that's the meaning here. Okay, the catalytic reaction that depend upon the pore structure of the catalyst and the size of the reactants and product molecules is called shape selective catalysis. Is called shape selective catalysis. So we can take what are zeolites. They are good shape selective catalyst because of their honeycomb like structure. Question पूछता है कि why they are good shape selective catalyst? Because of their structures. They have structure called honeycomb like structures. They are microporous. There are many pores of very small size. They are microporous aluminosilicates with 3D network of silicates in which some of the silicon atoms are replaced by aluminium atoms. आप पूरा लिख लो इसको एक बार, लिखते रहिए. In which some of the silicon atoms are replaced by aluminium atoms, giving aluminium oxygen aluminium framework. Full stop. These are used means this zeolites, they will be used as catalyst which is depending upon the pore structure and the size of the reactant and the product molecules, the size and shape of the reactant and product molecules. Now these silicates or this zeolites can be synthetic or natural. Now zeolites are widely used in petrochemical industries. One of the very common like इसमें किसने अपने purpose के लिए for cracking of hydrocarbons. What is cracking? That we have bigger hydrocarbon molecules to break them into smaller molecules is called cracking. For cracking of hydrocarbons and isomerization, we have structure like we can have N-butane can form isobutane. That is reaction of isomerization. Isomer changing structures. Example common taken is ZSM5. ZSM5 is catalyst in the petrochemical industry, which is used to convert alcohol to gasoline or petrol by dehydration reaction. From alcohol remove water molecules and then that is called dehydration reaction. Dehydrating them to give mixture of hydrocarbons. By dehydration of alcohols, they give mixture of hydrocarbons. That mixture of hydrocarbons is used as fuel, gasoline you can say here. That is the catalyst is used there, ZSM5. Okay. Now next topic can be taken here about enzyme catalysis. Okay, so let us take next topic, enzyme catalysis. Now we take our next topic, enzyme catalysis. What are enzyme catalysis? Let us understand first what are enzymes. Enzymes can be taken as biological catalyst or biochemical catalyst which are catalyzing numerous natural reactions, reactions occurring in animals and plants. They catalyze numerous reactions that occur in the bodies of animals and plants to maintain the life processes. Basically, enzymes are nitrogenous compounds. They are proteins in nature. All the enzymes are proteins in nature. So they are basically complex nitrogenous organic compounds produced by living organisms, plants or animals. Moreover, they are actually protein molecules of high molecular weight, and they form colloidal solutions in water. They are highly effective as well as highly specific. Effective means that they can small amount is sufficient to catalyze a large number of molecules, reactant molecules. At the same time, they are highly specific. Means catalyst cannot means you can take enzymes, they cannot catalyze all the reactions. One typical enzyme can catalyze only one kind of reaction. Even they differentiate the stereoisomers. If we can have same structure but different stereoisomerism, that also will be selectively judged by the enzymes. So that is highly specific in nature. Basically, this reactions which are catalyzed by the enzymes are called as biochemical catalysis reactions. So we have lot of reactions in which enzymes are catalysts. Let us take a list of the some commonly occurring reactions in which enzymes are catalyst. Okay. Now let us take some very commonly occurring enzyme catalyzed reactions. In exams you get direct question. Okay, for this reaction, what is enzyme, what is reactant, what is product, or this enzyme can catalyze which reactant to give which product. So remember the reactant, product and the enzymes both. और जब थोड़ा नोट करो सारा इसमें, note down all these examples. They are quite important examples. पहला दिया इसमें example है inversion of cane sugar. When you take cane sugar means sucrose solution, when it is undergoing reaction of hydrolysis in the presence of invertage enzyme, it gives glucose and fructose. Why this reaction is called inversion have been explained to you in topic kinetics. When we take reactant is glucose, if we take solution of sucrose or cane sugar, this solution is dextrorotatory nature. After reaction get over, they give equal moles, but negative value higher than positive value of glucose. So solution become levorotatory nature. There is change in optical behavior before and after this reaction of hydrolysis. So this reaction is called inversion of cane sugar. Convert sucrose to give 1 mole of glucose and 1 mole of fructose. Second example taken, conversion of glucose to ethyl alcohol. In this reaction we have catalyst Zymase enzyme, where we have glucose will undergo reaction with Zymase to give ethyl alcohol plus CO2. अगला reaction है conversion of starch to maltose. Retail starch will give maltose. In this reaction we have catalyst or contain enzyme is taken diastase which catalyzes reaction. What is starch? It is polysaccharide, polymer of alpha D glucose. The structures you can study in topic biomolecules. When you take this starch will react with water n moles to give n moles of maltose. Maltose is also example of disaccharide. Formula was same as starch, same as cane sugar. We take in this reaction enzyme catalysis taken diastase enzyme which will catalyze this reaction. अगला इसमें एग्जाम्पल दिया conversion of maltose to glucose. Maltose to glucose conversion is by enzyme maltase. Then urea to ammonia and CO2. This reaction of decomposition of urea to give ammonia and CO2. For this reaction they use catalyst urease. When you take in the stomach, pepsin is one enzyme that convert proteins to peptides or amino acids finally. And in the intestine we have pancreatic trypsin Trypsin, TRY. Trypsin converts proteins to amino acids. Proteins to amino acids. You can take pepsin, convert proteins to peptides, which are lower molar weight proteins, and trypsin will convert proteins to amino acids coming from the pancreatic juice, which contain trypsin, that help in this conversion of proteins to amino acids. Now we can take some properties of this enzyme or enzyme catalysis reactions. Okay. Now we can take some characteristics of enzyme catalysis reactions or about some property of enzymes. See, enzymes taken here are highly efficient. Means a single molecule of enzyme can catalyze millions of reacting molecules reactions per minute. So highly efficient. Supposed to be the most efficient, you can say here. And highly, अगला point का property क्या है? Highly specific in nature. A given enzyme can catalyze only one reaction, no other reaction. And when they enzymes, they can differentiate the stereoisomers easily, which are difficult to identify by simple means. So highly specific nature means each enzyme has one fixed substrate on which they can act and catalyze that reaction, not other reactions. That is meaning highly specific in nature. अगला point क्या है? They are highly active under optimum temperature. What is optimum temperature? कि each enzyme has a fixed temperature at which the rate of reaction is maximum of that enzyme. That the temperature at which the enzyme is most effective, most efficient, that temperature is called as optimum temperature. For the enzyme, it is taken mostly 298 Kelvin to 310 Kelvin temperature is optimum temperature for the most of the enzymes. Human body have temperature 310 Kelvin nearly, so we can take that is suitable condition, suitable temperature for the enzyme catalyzed reaction in the human body. अगला point क्या है? Highly active under optimum pH. Again, the effectiveness of the enzyme depend upon pH values, solutions, concentration of hydrogen ions. For each enzyme there is one particular pH value. For each enzyme there is one particular pH value at which the enzyme is most reactive, most efficient. So the rate of the reaction is maximum at one pH value. That pH is called as optimum pH. So enzyme catalyzed reaction require optimum temperature and optimum pH for the reaction to catalyze. अगला point क्या है? Increasing reactivity in the presence of some activators or coenzymes. What are coenzymes? Coenzymes can be taken non-protein parts, can be vitamins commonly. When they are present, they bind up to the enzymes and they make them highly reactive. They enhance the reactivity of the enzymes. We can call them coenzymes. And activators, they are can take metal ions, commonly taken sodium plus manganese plus 2, cobalt plus 2, Cu plus 2. These metal ions are acting as activators. These metal ions also bind up loosely to the enzymes. These metal ions bind up loosely to the enzymes and make enzyme more efficient, more reactive, more effective. Like we can take one example taken amylase. This one enzyme which is very reactive in the presence of sodium ions, in presence of NaCl salt, which can give sodium ions. अगला क्या है? Influence of the inhibitors and poisons. Just like in chemical reactions, we can have the reaction or effectiveness of the catalyst is affected by the inhibitors or catalytic poisons. Also enzymes can be enzyme effect or activity will be inhibited by the by catalytic poisons that can be stopped, because these inhibitors or catalytic poisons or enzyme poisons, they bind it to the active sites in the enzymes, and by binding to the active sites at which they will catalyze the biochemical reaction, that sites are destroyed by the inhibitors and the poisons, and then they make catalyst or these enzymes stopped functioning at all together. So this is some characteristics of enzyme catalysis reaction. Now let us see mechanism how these enzymes will function or catalyze the biochemical reactions. The common theory taken called Lock and Key hypothesis. Okay, let us see. Now we can take a mechanism for the enzyme catalysis reactions. It is normally we are using here lock and key model. Lock and key model is what it is saying here. It depends on the structure of the enzymes and then substrate. We can take on the surface of the enzyme, they have a large number of cavities. क्या लिखा है? You can write down इसको, you can note down all these points. There are a number of cavities present on the surface of colloidal particles of enzymes. They have characteristic shape and possess active functional groups like NH2, COOH, SH, OH, etc. These are active centers on the surface of the enzyme particles. They are the active centers on the surface of the enzyme particles. Now, the molecules of reactants have complementary shape which can fit into these cavities, like key in the lock. Then what happens? They will form activated complex just like in chemical reactions, and this complex then decompose to give the product. So basically reaction can be taken in two steps. One step taken, E is enzyme, S substrate. Enzyme plus substrate first will combine to form the activated complex. This can be taken complex, and then in second step this complex will decompose to give back the enzyme and product. If I take diagrammatically, I can show this lock and key model, how it is working. Let us see this diagram also. Now this can be diagrammatically representation of model or mechanism that is called lock and key model. Lock and key model. Where enzyme is acting like key on substrate, it can combine, or enzyme have, you can take definite shape having active groups, and substrate or the reactant, they have complementary shape. They combine together just like key is fitting into lock type. They form this enzyme substrate complex. Step 1 and step 2. This will break up the products. Substrate break 2 will give the product, and enzyme is again produced back. So at the end of reaction, enzyme remain unutilized, which can catalyze other reactants. Okay, so this is topic taken about enzyme catalysis. Now next topic taken is colloids. In colloids or colloidal state, you get question more frequently, especially on the topic electrical properties of colloids. Hardy-Schulze law, charge on the colloidal particles. That all we'll discuss now.